Hi to all my COVID cookers out there. We are going to make something today that is not only delicious, but also helps with inflammation. In some parts of the world, in India, they call it Kichiree. In the yogic world, it's called mung beans and rice. I actually learned this from Kichiree Khalsa, who was the private chef for a really renowned yogi who brought Kundalini yoga to the United States. His name was Yogi Bhajan, and she used to cook for the whole community. She cooked for me. She taught me how to make this dish. It's a little altered, but I'll give you some of the ingredients. You can always look up mung beans and rice by 3HO organization or Kichiree Khalsa. She has an amazing cookbook called From Vegetables with Love. Her secret to a great meal was to pray and to sing and to chant while she cooked for people, no matter who they were. So I love that idea. I'm doing it vegan, although you can do it with ghee, but I used avocado oil instead, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So I have just washed these mung beans, taken out all the dirty ones. It's about 2 cups. I do extra mung beans compared to the rice and quinoa. And it's black like this because I'm trying to get rid of balsamic vinegar. I'm eliminating it from my diet just because it's more sugary than what I would like in my normal life. So I poured freshly boiled water. I'm gonna let these soak for about at least 8 hours or overnight. And then I'm gonna combine it with quinoa instead of rice because my husband's not doing rice right now. He's semi-keto. So this will combine with washed quinoa grains. I'm going to do the same thing, and then I'm going to have a speedy, easy, much easier route to finishing this dish than I would have normally. So we are rinsing the grains. You do not have to soak grains in warm water. In this case, it would not be freshly boiled water. It would be warm water, about the same amount you would use to cook the grains in. You want to get rid of all the phytochemicals and things, extra starches, things that make it hard to absorb the nutrients. But if you do choose to soak your grains, a lot of people like to use lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. Again, I'm getting rid of my balsamic vinegar. I'm going to rinse this and then come back and pour some warm water over it. And you can do that for 8 to 24 hours. It'll reduce your cooking time significantly. So just be aware of that for both mung beans and the quinoa. The mung beans may only have to cook for maybe an hour after you've soaked them in boiling water. And we're going to go rinse these off, and when they come back clear, I'll pour the warm water on top. So these are all the ingredients that we're going to need. You can use ghee if you do ghee. If you're going to have ghee, I highly recommend desi ghee, like not ghee from the US if you can avoid it, because those cows are not the A2 cows. But ghee from India directly is great. Organic ghee is always good. I use avocado oil because I am vegan. So you're going to want about 1/3 of a cup. Excuse my, crazy pan. 1/3 of a cup. I'm on induction, so I'm starting it off at 6 while I'm getting things ready. One of the key things in Indian cooking is that you heat up the oil and you heat up the spices in the oil first so that everything gets accumulated. This recipe doesn't call for mustard seeds, but I love about a teaspoon of mustard seeds to get things popping. I'm going to add those first, and once those start popping and sizzling, it's going to be a sign to me to know that it's time to put in the other spices. Then the other spices, I'm going to put about a teaspoon of crushed red chili pepper flakes, a 1/2 teaspoon of crushed pepper, as well as 5 crushed cardamom pods. I'm going to open these up, and I'm just going to throw them right in there with everything else. So they're going to infuse the dish, and you'll find that you need to remove them later. 2 bay leaves. These are from my garden, and I'm so excited. I have a very heaping teaspoon of garam masala, and the only thing that's missing is another heaping teaspoon of turmeric. So turmeric is really, really great. If you're going to have turmeric for inflammation, you have to combine it with some type of pepper. As you can see here, turmeric combines with pepper, and that releases that. We have about 8 chopped garlic cloves here. We find, you'll see some green, but we're waste not, want not during COVID cooking. But this one seems like it really wants to have a life. So I'm going to plant this one in my garden. If you ever find green onions or green garlic or even potatoes, you can just put them in a pot. Even if you have a balcony or if you're in a home, and you'll always have fresh potatoes growing in your garden. It's really, really cool. You know to go pick them when this part dies and turns kind of a, like straw. Same with the potatoes. Once the potato plant dies, you know that it's time to go hunt for your potatoes under the soil. So we have 2 chopped onions here. And P.S., these work for me. I love these for chopping onions. I'm an onion fanatic. Onion, garlic, ginger are like almost any dish. I'd have garlic ice cream, okay? Like anything with garlic. So these are a necessity for me. If you wear glasses, you may just be super happy. They also recommend these for barbecuing. So yes, I am wearing grilling goggles. You can use them for grilling as well to keep the smoke out of your eyes. It won't keep the smoke out of your hair or clothes, but I love them, and this saves my eyeballs. Maybe glasses do too, I don't know. Some people bite a matchstick. None of that worked for me. These work for me. So, COVID cooking tip. Mwah! 2 to 3 inches of ginger. And so you have your triad, excuse my nails, COVID nails, and I've cut myself all in my garden this week, and nothing seems to be healing. I use the back of a spoon to peel the skin off of your ginger because it comes off just the skin, and you don't lose as much ginger. And I think right now we're all trying to save as much as possible. This is kind of the last of my ginger, and I have a bit more to save for other dishes, and we're going to chop this up and pour it in as well. So once you have all of that ready to go, we're going to sizzle up the spices. And you can see the spices are starting to sizzle. We're going to add them all together and let them infuse the oil with that delicious flavor. The turmeric and the pepper and cardamom pods and bay leaves. And you can get fancy with this. You can change the ingredients. And I do not add salt to this in the beginning. Then you're going to add your chopped onions, your chopped garlic, and you're going to let this kind of sizzle for about 30 seconds. Add your chopped onion, your chopped garlic, and your chopped ginger, and you're going to let this kind of just brown up for a while. And this will be what we're going to add to, if we're going to add this to the mung beans and rice, or to the mung beans and quinoa. And your trinity root vegetables, your onion, garlic, and chopped ginger later. So I'm going to take a pause, chop my ginger, and add it to this. We're going to drain the mung beans and rice that have been soaking, get the soup started. Again, we're not adding salt until the very end. And what I like to use for salt is coconut aminos to taste. And this is a very, very healthy dish for immunity. It's really, really exciting that I get to share this with you today. So we have water that has already been boiling. I had it on a boost on my induction cooktop. We have washed the mung beans and let them soak for quite some time, picked all of the bad mung beans out. And now I'm going to dump it in some already boiling water. And this is about 9 cups of boiling water. You can have this recipe. I'm making a bunch because in COVID cooking times, I want to have bulk ready to go. Speaking of bulk ready to go, I buy these power greens from Costco. You can probably buy them anywhere. They're organic and triple washed, and I freeze them, and they're great in smoothies. And I'm going to use about 6 cups of extra vegetables in here, and these are some of the vegetables that I will be using. Today I'm just using what I have. I have celery left over, I have frozen broccoli, I have frozen peas, frozen spinach. Not a lot of fresh vegetables right now. So I am going to let this boil. Remember, because I have pre-soaked this in boiling water to begin with, this is going to take a lot less time than if I did it from scratch without having pre-soaked it. So I'm going to let these boil until the mung beans start to split. Then I'm going to add the quinoa to that, the quinoa that's been soaking, and let that go for another 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to add what I had already made, which I showed you, which I will show you shortly. It's the trinity of root vegetables that's really, really healthy. Onion, garlic, and ginger root, all sauteed with some delicious, amazing spices. You can add cumin and salt to this, as well if you'd like. Cumin and coriander. I use garam masala for today, but you can have fun with these spices. Just don't forget the turmeric, crushed red chilies, and black pepper, because that activates the turmeric. And my choice, some people like to use soy sauce, some people like to use coconut aminos, some people like to use Bragg's. I prefer coconut aminos at the end. Some people also like to top this with yogurt to get even more probiotic benefits. This is like a pre-digested food, so it's really easy on your stomach. And if you're trying to get into beans and back into rice, this is a great place to start. It's really easy on your system and very delicious. So the mung beans have been boiling for about 30 minutes, and I will show you how they're starting to split. If you see these they're getting a little soft, and you can see some of the white part. You just kind of keep checking those. I'll bring it a little closer to the camera so you can see how some of those beans are like getting a little bit more white, and you can see that. So then I've also been letting the quinoa soak. The original recipe calls for basmati rice, and I'm changing the ratio to more beans than rice, but it's about a cup of soaked quinoa going in. Woo! Nice splash there. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna let that soak in there for about 5 minutes or so. And then what I do is I'm going to start pouring the seasoning that I've put in. I'm gonna start putting that in here, but what I like to do first is I like to take about a cup of the cooking water or so and just pour it in to sort of deglaze the pan and loosen everything up a little bit. And because we're cooking in COVID times, I am going to be making an eggplant dish after this, and I'm not even gonna wash this dish. I mean, I'm sure we should be washing things more, but I'm trying to conserve water, I'm trying to conserve soap, I'm trying to conserve a lot of things, and a lot of these flavors are gonna go nicely with my next dish. So now that I've deglazed and unstuck, some of this is still sticky. This is a green pan by Henkel, by the way, for anybody who's wondering what works with induction cooktop pans. I'm currently boiling everything at an 8 on my Thermador induction cooktop. And the bay leaves, these bay leaves are from my bay tree in my garden. If you use bay leaves, and you have some room in your garden, plant a bay leaf, a bay laurel, and be careful which ones you plant, because not all of them are edible. So you don't want to poison yourself inadvertently. We planted sumac this year. We planted elderflower and some of the other things that we luckily thought we might need, and we're gonna need them. And we planted a lot of garlic around the garden and onions that we thought had gone bad. So we're gonna have a little bit of bounty in this time. Sorry, my face isn't in there. You just get part of it, or maybe that's a good thing. So then we're gonna let all this soak in. We've got about 6, and any vegetables. I had shown you the vegetables earlier. I think I'm gonna add carrots to this, and we're gonna let this just go for a while until the mung beans and the quinoa are fully cooked. Probably maybe like 10, 15 minutes more. These are all frozen, so I don't know how that's gonna affect everything, like we'll just have to wait and see. And this is gonna be delicious, guys. We're gonna put, I'm gonna wait on the spinach. I'm gonna put that in last because it cooks so quickly, but we'll keep you posted, and I'll show you how this looks at the end. It's gonna be delicious on my dinner table. So that took about 15, 20 minutes. And at the very end, I've got this frozen spinach that I've had. Normally I crumble it. I actually crumble it into my kids' oatmeal and things like that, and into any pasta sauce. I'll do that. It freezes really well, and you can reheat some whenever. This is great for whenever you're sick, not feeling well, and then you just add a little bit for each bowl. Coconut, give everybody coconut aminos, soy sauce. It's not salty, so this is a very, you pour a little bit in at a time. You can add some salt if you prefer salt, but the coconut aminos give you those amino acids, and it's a little bit healthier for you. My 8-year-old trying it. What do you think?
And it's hot. It's really good.
Would you?
I love it.
You love it? You want it again?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, well. Enjoy, baby cakes. So I hope this was helpful and that you enjoy. Here's to your health, that of the planet, and that of our human family. Take care and be well.